Let's Talk Diz, a show that gives you everything you need to know to help make your Disney vacation as magical as can be in just about 20 minutes. I'm your host, Jeff Coviello. With me each week is Disney Master Sandy from Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services. Sandy, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. We have promised this show to folks. If you were listening last week, you know that tonight we are going to break down the return of the Disney dining plan. Are you ready? It's a lot of information.
I am ready. It may be a lot of information, but disclaimer, way less information than talking to you about Genie Plus.
That's true. I can't argue that. We've done about 1 million Genie Plus shows. This is going to be a little bit different. It's returning to us. For those folks that are old-time Disney visitors, you know that this was a pretty big staple basically pre-COVID, right? And then things kind of changed going into it and coming out of it, and we've been kind of waiting. Is it ever going to happen? Is it ever going to come back? And now we've got it. So you're the Disney master. I'd like you, if you can, to just break this down for us in as much detail or as little detail as we need to know so that folks have an understanding of where they're at when they're planning their vacation.
I'd love to. And you're right. People love the dining plan. And just like everything we talk about with Disney, people all love it for different reasons. The number one reason I hear that we love it is because you know the cost of your vacation up front minus gratuities. Mm-hmm. You've paid for your meals. It's a done deal. The number two reason people love it is the number one reason travel agents hate it. So I'll throw it out there and then I'll tell you, please don't ask your travel agent this question. People love it because they're used to going at the end of August and September when Disney offers it for free.
Right.
It's not coming for free anytime soon. Your agent, if it's ever offered for free again, will certainly let you know when it happens. But that, like many other things, may be a thing of the past. But again, the ease of using it and being able to plan and know that you're set is great. And it is one of those things that at first glance looks a little more complicated, but I assure you we're going to break it down in 20 minutes and it's going to be super easy. And they started by making it easier by only giving us 2 plans now instead of 4.
Okay.
So there's the quick service plan. And that is 2 quick service meals. Again, that's going to be something you can order right through the app, quick service, fast food, counter service. We've used those words interchangeably over the years, i.e. you do not sit down and have a waiter or waitress. There are no characters. It's not a buffet. It's grab and go. You're going to get 2 of those meals and 1 snack per person per night. Notice that nuance with the dining plan. You pay for it per night and you receive your credits per night. And your nights are always going to be 1 less than your days. So if you're there for 6 days, you've got a 5-night plan. Both plans also include the resort refillable mug, which we'll talk about in a minute. That plan is going to be $23.83 for a child 3 to 9. $57.01. Have to get that extra penny in there.
Yeah, seriously.
A night, ages 10 and up. There's no charge for children under 3 on either dining plan because the kids don't get credits. So again, when we talk about the plans and how to maximize them, your children 0 to 2 years and 364 days don't need a park pass. They don't get a meal plan. Therefore, if they are close to 3 and eating meals, they would either need to share with somebody or you'd pay extra. That's why you'll get a great value when you go to some of the things like the character buffets because it's unlimited food and there's all you care to eat, like that special that we did last week really maximizes it when you've got a child in that not quite 3-year-old age.
All right, so you broke down the price there for the quick service plan, $57.01, which just makes me laugh, per night for if you're 10 and above, and $23.83 if your age is 3 to 9. Get you 2 quick service meals per person per night, 1 snack per night, and a refillable resort mug per person.
Correct.
All right, that's option 1. That's the Disney quick service dining plan. What's option 2?
The Disney dining plan. It's one quick service meal, one table service meal, one snack per person per night, and then that one resort refillable mug for the length of your stay. That's going to be $29.70 for a child 3 to 9. So those of you trying to do some quick math, not quite a $6 difference. And for those 10 and up, $94.28. So there you're really seeing that big difference. That's about $37 a person difference.
That's a significant difference between those two. So they're trying to sell the fact that the table service meal is that much more expensive than the quick service meal.
It is. And let's talk about what is a meal for a minute.
Okay.
Because I think that's important to understand as well. So your meal is going to be, if it's one of those unique meals we talked about last week, a character buffet and all you care to eat, that's going to be one table service credit per person, and you're going to get all of that food. In most cases, it's going to include appetizers, it's going to include desserts, and your beverage. Those 21 and older can have an alcoholic beverage. Those under 21 can get anything from a soft drink to a specialty drink. And this is one of the reasons that I used to love the meal plan. If you talk to my child, she will tell you that when we eat out at home, we never get dessert, we never get milkshakes, we never get smoothies. I'm unwilling to pay that price in a restaurant. It kills me to give them $7 for the smoothie that you could make at home for $1. Your child's going to have 6 sips of and be done. When it's included in the plan, that's what makes a vacation. I can say yes to everything. So you can add things like a smoothie that's $7 for the kids and really see, $7 on one drink. Get them a smoothie with lunch and a smoothie with dinner, you're already at more than half the cost of the plan.
Right.
What I will say up front before we dig deeper into these is I can always eat cheaper, not on the meal plan, but I will never eat the same way. So that's going to be important to remember.
Yeah, that's a very important phrase.
And that's why, again, I wouldn't order that $7 smoothie if I was not on the meal plan. So now we've got what that table service is. For a quick service or a table service where there's a menu, you're going to get a main dish. And then the phrase is a side dish where appropriate. So, for example, pizza is your main dish. Pizza typically, unless it's a kid's meal, doesn't come with a side dish. Where if you get chicken or steak or a hamburger, you get a side dish, whether it's mashed potatoes, French fries, you get a meal. You get a beverage. Again, it can be that specialty drink. It can be an alcoholic drink. It can be a soda. It can be a coffee. And then you get dessert. That doesn't change which plan you're on. The meal is still the same meal. It's just what types of credits you have. The snack is the world is your oyster on a snack. And that's where I say you can really figure out how to get great value or not so great value on your plan. A snack can be anything from a donut, a bagel, a piece of fruit, a bowl of cereal to be your breakfast, because none of you are hearing me talk about 3 meals a day.
Correct.
But I assure you there is plenty of food in this meal plan. A snack could also be Jeff's favorite, $6.99 for your Dole Whip.
Bingo.
If you've listened to our shows on the festivals, I say that some of the best and worst values on the dining plan are the festival booths. You can get a festival item that's as little as $5. You can get a festival item that's $13, and it's a snack. So that extra snack credit might be a snack. It might be a meal.
It's just there's so much. Again, it's like everything else right now. There's just so much planning that would go into having to utilize this plan to your biggest advantage.
And we've always worked with clients. I very honestly say to people, 95% of our clients save $5 to $20 per person per night on the Disney dining plan, that one with the one table service and one quick service. So I suggest to people that when you're booking your trip, you budget that in. That way you know the number you're working to. When we get to that 70-day mark and we're talking to you about dining, and you're looking at where do I want to eat, when do I want to eat, we lay out your plan with you. And sometimes I'll say to people, now that we've done your dining, I think you either need to add one more sit-down meal, or I think you need to take the dining plan off. We can tell that very easily. I will say, when you look at those numbers that we just gave you, especially for that Disney dining plan, if you've got 2 kids and they're both teenagers, you need to be sitting down for this number. The meal plan for a family of 4 is $377 a night. If you're there for 7 nights, that makes your dining plan $2,600 and change. That's an outrageous number when I pull it apart like that and I look at it.
Well, that's for a family of 4, you said, if everyone is in that 10 plus range.
That's correct. But I'm going to be honest with you. One of the things that we did this year, because I've been a huge supporter of the dining plan all the years that I've been doing this, and I got a quick look at those numbers and I'm like, I'm not so sure this year. So I put together a 6-day scenario for clients. What some possible choices are, here's your sample day, where day 1 you do the snack for breakfast and the quick service for lunch and the sit down for dinner. And we did different variations to show what do you get. And 90% of the days I came out with the savings.
Even with that, and we discussed it, even with that $94.28 per person for 10 plus and the $29.73 to 9.
Correct.
Oh.
I will say the big thing, and this clearly does not apply to teens, is that both your meals can include an alcoholic beverage.
Okay.
So if you like to drink anything from, I was looking at some of the quick service menus a little earlier, $9.50 for a hard seltzer, $10.50 for a White Claw, $12 for a Seagram's daiquiri. That's not my typical choice of drink. I may get one of those with lunch, but I like when we go to sit down dining, I get the really expensive Froofy cocktail. I get a $16 to $19 cocktail that honestly, there is no way I would ever purchase if I wasn't on the meal plan. So that goes back to my saying, could I eat for less? Sure. Would I be eating differently? Sure. So I enjoy having that opportunity with the menus, putting in those smoothies and other things. And it's a big savings. But we can easily tell you the savings. For example, I did a 1-day sample where the adult went to the food court for breakfast. You got a yogurt parfait. Then you went to China for lunch and you got the General Chow's chicken salad and a soda. And then you went to Princess Storybook Dining for dinner. My total came out to $89.56. So in that case, I am losing almost $5. However, if I added a cocktail to dinner, my total became $107. So now I'm $13 ahead.
Right.
And if I also added a cocktail to lunch, my total became $112.
So there is savings depending. It's like everything else that we discuss on the show. It's very dependent upon your traveling party. It's dependent upon what you folks want to do on your vacation.
I do find that the bigger savings is in children 3 to 9. Okay. Because on that same day, using that example, I'm a wonderful mother. I allowed my child to have a chocolate chip muffin for breakfast. That was their snack credit.
It's magic.
They wouldn't eat Chinese food, so we ran next door. We got them 5-cheese pizza. And then obviously they ate with me at Storybook Dining. Their total for the meal plan that was $29.70 was $56 for the night.
Right.
If I added a smoothie into that, their total became $63. Right there, I saved between $26 and $33 on one child for one day.
Well, and if you're doing that each day, even if you didn't get a cocktail at night and you're falling $5 short, like when you look at the total net, you're still coming out ahead. So you have to do the math yourself and with your travel specialist to make sure that it's actually worth its while for you, right? You can't look at it as individual person, because if you're a traveling party of 4, it may shake out differently than just looking at it as 1-to-1.
Most definitely. And again, it's easy when I can give you something like Storybook Dining, Chef Mickey's, Be Our Guest. We know what the menu cost is. It's a fixed price dinner experience.
Right.
Where there's obviously a difference if you're going to Tony's tonight and you order the cheapest entree at $29 or the most expensive at $36, it makes a difference. I don't ever think you should use the dining plan and look at the menu and order the most expensive item to get the best value. It's not necessarily the item that you like to eat.
Right. Yeah.
Why would you pick it that way? What I will say is I find the quick service meal plan to be a great convenience. In the examples that I gave you, those quick service meals tend to run in the $15 to $22 range. Again, there's exceptions on both ends, but Casey's, super popular, $19.28. Well, 2 meals at $19.28 is only $38. Even add in a $10 snack is $48. The meal plan was $57. The only way you're going to get your money back on that quick service is if you're doing alcohol with each meal, in my opinion.
Well, the one thing that we haven't talked about, and I know that you and I have, some mixed reviews on this, is that there's also that resort refillable mug, right? And so and I just came off of a trip where I was traveling with a bunch of children in my day job, and we had refillable mugs for the adults, but they're only good for the resort. So I think that's important to know too. You're not getting this refillable mug at your resort, regardless of where you're staying, and then walking into Epcot and filling it at every soda station. That's not happening.
That's correct. So those drinks, again, are strictly at your resort. If you're doing a lot of resort time, if you're not staying in the park all night, that's great. I talk to families who say to me, I'm going to use it for breakfast, maybe because I'm using a snack for breakfast, and that doesn't give you a drink where your mug would let you have coffee, tea, or hot chocolate. Or you are using your quick service for breakfast. You're getting those Mickey waffles and potatoes and bacon, and it does include a beverage. I say to people, you could still use your mug and then grab something like a bottle of water or a Gatorade or a Powerade and take it into the park and have it for later.
Right.
But if you use your mugs, you obviously have 2 choices. One is the food courts frequently you're going to go from your room to the food court to the bus. That's kind of the order of getting to things.
Yep.
And so that means if you don't want to take them with you to the park, since as Jeff just said, they're not good there. They are a resort refillable mug. Somebody's got to run all the way back to your room with them. Might be far, might not, might be good on day 1 and day 2. And by day 6, you're saying, I walked 14,000 steps yesterday. I'm not running back to the room with the mug. The other thing that I hear is the mug is great. Again, you're going to get off the bus. You're going to get to the food court before you get to your room. So people say to me, it's great. We get a drink to walk back to our room and have it, for the rest of the evening. That's true. But then you've got to carry the mug with you. And before everybody sends us hate mail, yes, you can refill it at any water fountain you'd like, or ask for a cup of ice water and dump it in. The problem to me is, unlike bottles, I don't have a stroller child anymore. So when we carry Powerade and bottled water, it's in a backpack. Depending how many of us there are, it doesn't fit in the side pockets. It's just thrown in the middle of the backpack. It's sideways, it's upside down, but it's a sealed bottle. It's not going to leak. those cups, while they have a lid, they will leak. They are not leak proof when you turn them. So I think it's a lot to carry. If you're a family of 4 and you're carrying these mugs just to get a free drink at the end of the day, it might be too much. But maybe you do have a stroller. And so you fill it with soda or coffee after you finish breakfast. As you head to the bus, here's a stroller hack for you. Go to your local dollar store, get one of those over-the-door shoe hangers, and you can hang it off the handle of the stroller. Then you've got pockets for your mugs, and if you need a pocket for tissues or sunscreen or any other little goodies, you've got this nicely divided thing, and you're not carrying them. So maybe you get more value out of the mug.
So you've broken down both plans. We've kind of given the sample days, which I think was incredibly helpful. One piece we haven't really talked about before I ask you for any kind of last minute tips or anything like that. The walk-up list for Disney dining, in my perspective, has become a little bit more popular over the last couple of months. How does this impact that?
I love the walk-up list. And there was an item that I didn't used to love about it that they finally fixed. And that was that if you hit the join list, it would say to you, you're too far away. And that button is there for every restaurant. So maybe Ohana is your dream meal and you just booked your trip last week and so you didn't get a reservation. And you're going to leave the Magic Kingdom to take the monorail or the boat over to hit that join walk-up list. And now you do that and you're at Polynesian 20 minutes later and you go to hit the button and it says walk-up list is currently unavailable. Well, now you left the park for nothing. Mm-hmm. But they've updated in the latest version of the app, and above the walk-up list, right under the picture, it kind of takes up my whole screen in red so you can't miss it. It says walk-up list is currently unavailable to join due to high demand. So there's always that slim chance that it was available when you left the Magic Kingdom and it was gone in the 20 minutes it took you to the Polynesian. But odds are good if they've had some space tonight, they're going to keep having some space. And same way, odds are bad. If it says it's full now, it's probably not going to open 20 minutes from now.
All right, so we're coming to the end. Any tips or any kind of pitfalls, anything else that we haven't discussed tonight as we roll out these dining plans back to the general public that you think folks need to know?
You bet. The festival booths at Epcot, as I mentioned, I think are one of the best things going. You can get great value by picking those snacks that are $9, $10, $11, $12, $13. That's a great deal. The other thing that we didn't talk about is the actual logistics of the meal plan. So I'm going to make it really simple for you. We all know what a bank account is. Think of your meal plan like a bank account. And maybe you have a savings account and a checking account and maybe even a second savings or checking. When you arrive, your meal plan becomes a bank. The adult meals, fast food, sit down, are separate from the kids, and then the snacks are all together. If you want to use all of your snacks on day one, have at it. It just means you have none left. You get it when you check in. It expires at 11:59 the day you check out. That also means if you're not doing one of those fixed price meals, you can share a meal with a spouse somewhere and then have an extra credit for later. We didn't really talk about the signature meals, those upscale that require 2 dining credits. Generally, I find them not the best use of your dining credit, but again, we can look at menus and walk you through it. What I love when you use the meal plan, and I encourage people to treat these credits just like you would treat cash. I'm amazed the number of people who get their bill, look at the total, because it's going to tell you what the meal would have cost, because you are still going to have to leave a gratuity, and don't look any further. And then they're calling us on their second to last day with a problem. At the bottom of the bill, every time you use a meal plan, it's going to recap that portion of the meal plan. So if I'm at a festival booth and I order 2 snacks, it's going to say 2 snacks used, 16 snacks remaining. If I did fast food, 2 adult meals used, 2 child meals used, and it tells you how many are remaining. Check your receipt. Mistakes happen. People are human. For pitfalls, I say that one of my biggest pitfalls is the snacks, because I know that there are $3 snacks and I know that there are $14 snacks, and I want to get expensive snacks to get the best value out of my plan. So it might be on day one that I pay for the Mickey bar because I'd rather give them $5 than use the credit there. And then on day 2, when I want a Diet Coke, I also think it's not worth the $4 of the snack credit. I'll pay for that. And I keep saving them till the last day. I'm like, oh, I still have 6 snack credits to go. So you can be cautious day 1, day 2, even day 3 if you're there for a week. Remember, on day 4, there's no bonus to having them all left when you check out. You don't want to leave that money on the table. They cannot be carried over to another trip. They cannot be carried over on a split stay. Split stay is you're doing 3 days at Art of Animation and then 3 days at Polynesian. At 11:59 that day you check out of Art of Animation, your meal credits are going to expire. Even though you bought a park ticket that's still good for another 4 days, they're not interchangeable. So don't leave that on the table. If you really haven't used your stuff wisely, go into your resort gift shop, get some things to go home. Mickey Rice Krispie Treats are a great way to use up those extra snack credits and bring them home. Any of the gift shops that are attached to a quick service location have in the past, we can't get it confirmed till the dining plan starts being used again, but in the past, we've been able to take a quick service meal credit and convert it to 3 snacks. That's the only conversion you can do. So people often will say to me, well, if I get the quick service only meal plan, can I one day give them 2 quick service credits for a sit down meal? You cannot. The credits get used as they get used. Again, the numbers are a little overwhelming when you break them down, but I promise they're way less than what the bills will be later. One of the things we've done to really help our clients see it, and I read you an example, we've put together 6 sample days where you might choose to eat. And I will tell you, I went to my team and said, give me your favorite sit-down restaurant and your favorite quick service restaurant. We obviously all haven't used the meal plan for 3 days, for 3 years. So some of the examples I put together show you how the meal plan isn't a great value for that restaurant. You can then decide, do I want to change where I'm going? Or maybe, like I said, since the meal plan is per night, not per day, if you have a full day on your arrival day and a full day on a departure day, maybe you pay for the inexpensive meal out of pocket. There's definitely lots of ways to make this work if it's of interest.
Well, I'm glad we took the time tonight to break it down. I know that this will probably not be anywhere close to the last time we discussed this as it's coming back. I appreciate the expertise, and I look forward to talking to you about it in the future. Have a great week.
You too.
And that's a wrap this week on Let's Talk Diz. If anyone you know could benefit from this or any show, please share on your Facebook and Instagram for other Disney fans to enjoy. And don't forget to reach out to the folks at Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services for any Disney destination planning. Make it a great week. And as always, keep making memories.